and we are in 5 a.m. service at Wellness Club. This is your host, Dr. Jorge Piña, and your host of today, Master, it's Lawrence. Okay, you're ready. We are live in YouTube.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Good morning. My name is Lucy Osborne, and before you get to this team meeting, we're going to do the miracle morning, the savers, silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing to get you in the place where you can be creating the work that you love from a place that you love, feeling good. So before this team meeting happens, stand up. We're starting with a little bit of movement before we sit back down in these chairs. So get on up. That's right. This is how we're starting this meeting, with a little bit of movement. So get up, shake anything loose that needs to be shaken loose, any worry, any anxiety, any embarrassment, any confusion, just shake it out. Shake it out of the shoulder, shake it out of the wrist, shake your head back and forth like you're saying no, up and down like you're saying yes. And then let's do some jumping jacks. Why not? Jump right in. Jumping jacks. You got it. Now look at your teammates, your colleagues, if they're there in person or virtually. Make some eye contact. Encourage each other. Getting a little movement in before we sit back down. Changing things up, interrupting the pattern. By the way, you're still doing those jumping jacks, right? 10 more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now go around that table and high five your colleagues. Good job. On that, find your way back to your seat. Now feeling ready to settle in, ready to move forward. Find your seat, get comfortable, and close your eyes. And take a few deep breaths in. As a team, let's breathe together. In, in, in. In and out, 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 out. In, 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 and out, 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 out. Breathing together as one team. Continue to breathe deeply at your own pace. And with your eyes closed, imagine, visualize.
Stop it. Give your boss good power.
Green shippings and entities. Unexpected.
partners, the world at large? Who are we serving? See their faces, whether you know them or you make them up on your own, visualizing who are we serving, who are we helping, and how are we helping? How are our gifts individually as a team making an impact? Why is the world better because we do the work that we do? What is our legacy? What are we creating for our generation and future ones? Why is it important that we are right here, right now together? Affirm to yourself in your mind, what we do matters. We're making a difference. We're open to learning. We're full of great ideas. We're focused and determined. We're each valuable and unique. Our impact is limitless. I'm going to read to you excerpts from Start With Why by Simon Sinek. You can either keep your eyes closed and listen and soak it in, or if something sparks your interest, you can open your eyes and write it down. But take this in. Let it inspire you. Our visions are the world we imagine, the tangible results of what the world would look like if we spent every day in pursuit of our why. For values or guiding principles to be truly effective, they have to be verbs. It's not integrity, it's always doing the right thing. It's not innovation, it's look at the problem from a different angle. Articulating our values as verbs gives us an idea, a clear idea. We have a clear idea of how to act in any situation. Because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Working hard for something that we do not care about is called stress, but working hard for something we love is called passion. All organizations start with why, but only the great ones keep their why clear year after year. Those who forget why they were founded show up to the race every day to outdo someone instead of to outdo themselves. The pursuit for those who lose sight of why they are running the race is for the medal or to beat someone else. Those who are able to inspire, give people a sense of purpose or belonging that has little to do with external incentive or benefit to be gained. Those who truly lead are able to create a following of people who act, not because they were swayed, but because they were inspired. For those who are inspired, the motivation to act is deeply personal. They're less likely to be swayed by incentives. Those who are inspired are willing to pay a premium or endure inconvenience or even personal suffering. Those who are able to inspire will create a following of people, supporters, voters, customers, workers, who act for the good of the whole, not because they have to, but because they want to. Open your eyes. See the people around you. And then pick up your pen or pencil and write, what is my why? What is my why? And recall back to your visualization, what is the impact that we can make with this work? What's my why? What's my reason? Not for the gold medal at the end of the race, but for the growth and change that will happen, the impact our work will have. What is my why? Now, before you get started on anything else in this meeting, take 1 minute each to share with each other what your why is. and the impact you envision your team creating. And then go ahead and start creating.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. Yeah,
I
you
feel
know.
like the Verizon guy. Okay. All right. That was a new one that I tried from not Patricia Moreno, the other lady. From Miracle Morning app. So I thought it was pretty great because she's referencing the Simon Sinek book that we worked through. What is my why? What's my reason? Since it's such a small group, I guess I could go first, but it's not going to take very long since there's only three of us. To make a difference in the world through sharing my gifts of technology and people. Up there comes somebody. Candido. Okay.
You got it, man. You got you white. Finally, it took you a year.
Yeah. I just, as we're sitting here, I'm like, yeah, I think that's it. So I had a weird dream last night too, but we're not going to go into that now. Yeah. So
That is your why. So what happened when you find your why? It doesn't matter where you find your why. I have the pleasure. I'm gonna talk about my why to get my why early in life. So it was in my. I was wandering around the university after my pre-college courses in Santo Domingo, and I went around. I didn't know what to study. I thought I was going to be an engineer because that's what my paper says. And I didn't know, but I knew that I was good in biology, that I did good in biology. So I went around and I found this big orientation group that were going to study medicine. And I enrolled in medicine just like that. Most people who are becoming doctor, they wanted to be doctor. It was like, I want to be doctor. They see, I didn't know what the fuck doctor means or whatever. So I'm gonna study medicine because I knew that I wanted to be a teacher because my sister is a teacher. She said, "Oh, go study teacher first, and then you do whatever you wanna do." Yeah, no, I'm gonna do something big. I don't know what the fuck. Maybe God was guiding me at the moment. And in the middle of the third year, first semester you have anatomy one. Second semester you have anatomy two, and then you have neuroanatomy. So, which mean but it took at that time in the I started in 77. It took at that time like a year to finish a semester because of the political reason. The was a very political Marxist, autonomous place in Santo Domingo, and was fighting with Balaguer regime, very dictatorships close to the Trujillo, real cruel dictator in Santo Domingo, in Dominican Republic. So I think by 81 or 82, 81, 82, I studied neurology, and in neuroanatomy, I found a friend who was studying Freud, and I studied the Wednesday Society for Psychoanalysis, something like that. And I knew I want to be a psychiatrist. I want to be a psychoanalyst. Early in 1982, already was done. So since that time, I went to literature, and then I've been trying to do what I call MIFA as of this week, something like that. MIFA, it's the M is for Movimiento International Meta Poetry Movement. That's MIM. And then the I of MIFA, it's Institute of Meta Poetry. That's the I. And the F is the Foundation of Psychoanalysis and Meta Poetry. So the International Meta Poetry, it's a for-profit organization established in New York City, and I send funding. I send funding to this organization to do whatever I have to do on meta poetry. The Instituto Meta Poetry Institute, that's the name of the institution that I'm going to do in Florida as a for-profit too. So I need to do the incorporations and things like that. And then I established the F of MIFA is the Foundation of European Foundation of Meta Poetry that is already established um, in Madrid, where we have done the Congress for the fourth time now, and we are uh, holding the ninth Congress, and the A is for the Academia of of European Meta Poetry. So my wife is been for the last 35 years literature, meta poetry, my movement, and psychoanalysis. And I have dedicated my life. I have invested a lot of money on it. Probably $100,000 from 2000 to now, just for the Congress. I'm publishing books of the International Meta Poetry, at least 2 or 3 books, getting more expensive as I decided to go for 3 months to Europe and do it in Madrid and know everything about psychoanalysis and meta poetry. So because I say I will at least I will dedicate 10% of whatever I do to that, what I want to do, what I love to do. Uh, you know, as a really my passion. So that I dedicate myself. That I want to do psychoanalysis, like healing people, but also I want to do culture and art by doing the international meta poetry. That's been my why. That I was happy enough or lucky enough to say to myself in 1981, 82, 81, 82, that I just said I wanted to be a psychoanalyst. And from being a psychoanalyst, then came the literature and the art and the meta poetry and the language and scenes and everything from there. So that's my wife, really, Mifa.
Thank you for sharing. That's awesome. I know it's going to be a success because everything that you do is. So,
Thank you.
yeah. All right. Who's next? Victor, Candido, or Martha? It's a smaller group today. Okay, go Victor.
I can go.
Okay.
Good morning, all. Blessed day.
Blessed day.
My why is to be a leader of the Lord's work and spirituality, a leader of my household, a leader of my peers and colleagues. The Lord put beautiful things in my heart to be trustworthy, influential, and a light for others. He gave me wisdom to impart to others. He gave me the tools to persevere and overcome hard things, and made so that my teaching can be He made me a leader of people to help others achieve, persevere, and overcome.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Good. Candido or Martha?
Question is what is your why?
Good
Yes.
morning. What is the question, please?
Sure. What is your why? What is your reason for doing the things that you do? That was like the title of Simon Sinek's book. So why do you do the things that you do?
Mm. Oh, go Candido.
Thank you, Marta. My why is I do whatever I do is for my family, for myself, and for make a better world. That's it. For me, for myself, my family, to make a better world.
Great. Okay, Martha, we didn't give you much time, but
Uh, Hi, good morning. Good to see you.
good to see you too.
Yeah. Uh, my why in my whole life is I I want to early know that I have to be much better. My why is my family, um, my father, my mother. I want to be professional in my life. I have to do a lot of things to finish my bachelor. Because my father have a business. Yeah, I was working in her business, the compraventa. He have like three compraventa, Gabriel Rodriguez. He say, what is your uh you want to finish the bachelor? What you doing with the bachelor? The bachelor is nothing. And I was in Perito, the high school, the is for commercial. I take accounting. One time I um go out to the school, but then I go back, but I have to fighting with him, talking with him. No matter what, he say, "Look at me, I am successful, and I don't. I learn to reading and writing. Um, eh, yeah, older." I say, "Yeah, but now it's different." Uh, but I continue. I do a nutritional and and there I am very passionate for uh, eating good, healthy, and I study nutritional technique and nutritional, and I was working in that. Uh, I like the art to the the cultural. Um, I really uh I don't have a lie. I do the thing that I has to do. and really in the good way. I have also a friend like that, like you, that we reading good book, and I go to in this way like intellectual. I like that reading. Yeah. Eh, and when I can hear no English, I don't like the Spanish newspaper. I hate that. In Dominican Republic, we have the best newspaper, el Litín Diario y el Caribe. Incredible writing in there. I don't like. I say I wanna read the newspaper the in here, and and some families say, "Ay, what is your uh, you coming and you go to the English class and too much hurry for learn English." I have la la la. It's at how many year I have? I got the basic. I say yeah, but I don't want to stay in this way. And then I go to very good school, good teacher, um, in Halle, to the free class, English class, and then I go to Austin to do I don't I it's two year Austin, but I take 3 year. And really, in there, I made I was a part to the student government. I do a guru the yoga. Also the master that I have in this time. So mi guru de Banan go to us. Twice I may be issues in Hosto. And then I go to Mexico. I finish my bachelor degree. I say thank you. Uh, and really, my mind is in my inside me to continue to move, to continue to learn. I got also I continue why I do that. I saw people in my category older. They don't know, do nothing, but I can stay to do nothing. I like to continue is my way myself. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Martha, I'm hoping I understood this correctly. So, um, do you still are you still gonna complete your studies? Is that what you were saying at the beginning, that you still do you want to go back to school to finish? Did I understand that properly?
Yes, yeah. I finished my high school. I has to fighting with my father. He don't want to because I was working with him and the business that he had. He had a pool, compraventa, and I was working with him. I was the accounting, um, cashier, clean the business,
You did everything. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in here when I finished, I was working uh, um, on a tender, uh, and then I continue to study. I go to board education, like assistant teacher, and I passed 28 year in the board education assistant teacher. But I do extra work, but I don't finish. I don't pass uh, the English writing test, and then I say, "Hey, the teacher had a lot of work." I saw my friend. They're working, and they go to her house with a carry to work to continue to working in her house. I say, let me tell you something. I passed also one time uh, uh, the sub teacher, teacher. Yeah, but I in this part it was so difficult for me to pass the test.
So how many credits do you have left? Or what do you have to do to complete?
Oh no, I complete my bachelor degree in
You did the whole
Mexico.
thing. Okay. Oh, in
Yeah,
Mexico.
yeah, I finished in here, Mercy College.
Oh, Mercy College. Mercy College. Okay. In like White Plains or something, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
Mercy,
cool.
yeah. Most of the we compare with another people who is in my group.
Hmm.
Yeah, I do my bachelor and also uh, working in the board education, also sub teacher and paraprofessional. But I saw I have more benefits like assistant teacher,
Hmm.
the sub teacher. And I stay um, assistant teacher.
Cool.
So I do a different kind of the work in the school with the children who come in. They don't have a English. And no matter what, my English no is perfect, but I give it the base to a student who coming from different uh, country like mine. Um, and also I was working in a special education and do a very good job with special education children. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Yeah. Good morning, Gregory. How are you?
Good morning.
Good. So we're going around. We've completed the Lucy Osborne savers that we did. So one of the questions that was in there is, what is my why, from the Simon Sinek book, which she brought up in the audio that we listened to. Um, so we were just going around and sharing that with others. So how about you? Have you consolidated from the other stuff that we've done what your why is?
Well, why don't we give Greg a second to think through,
Yeah.
because Greg, always has something great to impart. And
Yeah.
selfishly, I refined my why. I asked Gemini to make it more concise, and I want to share it again.
Okay, awesome.
My purpose is to lead up. Guided by my faith, I am a leader for my family, peers, and colleagues, using the wisdom and perseverance I've gained through my own experiences. I strive to be a trustworthy and influential light, helping others develop their own purpose through spiritual well being, mental toughness, and good physical health, and inspiring them to raise up more soldiers of the Lord and pass this legacy on for generations to come.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's even more powerful. That's great.
Mhm.
Brother Lawrence, how do you follow that?
I don't know, man.
Nah, man, that was an
that's a
alley
lot.
oop. That was an alley oop. That was an alley oop. Now you jam it home with two hands.
listen, I'm going to keep it simple. Simple. My purpose in life is to contribute to my community, my church, and have an impact and pass on my why is my family, my wife, and my children, that I can transfer that information and vision to have a long lasting, forever, not ending vision of helping people. There you go.
That's great. Cool. Are we, I'm behind a lot. Are we still reading the the power book?
Yep, we are on law 32.
Okay,
So let's go.
let's go. Yeah.
Key to power to late law 32, I believe. Let me just go.
Keys to power. Fantasy can never operate alone. It requires the backdrop of the humdrum and the mundane. It is the oppressiveness of reality that allows fantasy to take root and bloom. In 16th century Venice, the reality was one of decline and loss of prestige. The corresponding fantasy described a sudden recovery of past glories through the miracle of alchemy. While the reality only got worse, the Venetians inhabited a happy dream world in which their city restored its fabulous wealth and power overnight, turning dust into gold. The person who can spin a fantasy out of an oppressive reality has access to untold power. As you search for the fantasy that will take hold of the masses, then keep your eye on the banal truths that weigh heavily on us all. Never be distracted by people's glamorous portraits of themselves and their lives. Search and dig for what really imprisons them. Once you find that, you have the magical key that will put great power in your hands. Although times and people change, let us examine a few of the oppressive realities that endure and the opportunities for power they provide. The reality. Change is slow and gradual. It requires hard work, a bit of luck, a fair amount of self-sacrifice, and a lot of patience. The fantasy. A sudden transformation will bring total change in one's fortunes, bypassing work, luck, self-sacrifice, and time in one fantastic stroke. This is, of course, the fantasy par excellence of the charlatans who prowl among us to this day, and was the key to Bragadino's success. Promise a great and total change, from poor to rich, sickness to health, misery to ecstasy, and you will have followers. How did the great 16th century German quack Leonhard Tyrneiser become the court physician for the Elector of Brandenburg without ever studying medicine? Instead of offering amputations, leeches, and foul-tasting purgatives, the medicaments of the time, Tyrneiser offered sweet-tasting elixirs and promised instant recovery. Fashionable courtiers especially wanted a solution of drinkable gold, which cost a fortune. If some inexplicable illness assailed you, Tyrneiser would consult a horoscope and prescribe a talisman. Who could resist such a fantasy? Health and well-being without sacrifice and pain. The reality. The social realm has hard-set codes and boundaries. We understand these limits and know that we have to move within the same familiar circles day in and day out. The fantasy. We can enter a totally new world with different codes and the promise of adventure. In the early 1700s, all London was abuzz with talk of a mysterious stranger. A young man named George Salmanazar. He had arrived from what was to most Englishmen a fantastical land, the island of Formosa, now Taiwan, off the coast of China. Oxford University engaged Salmanazar to teach the island's language. A few years later, he translated the Bible into Formosan, then wrote a book, an immediate bestseller on Formosa's history and geography. English royalty wined and dined the young man, and everywhere he went he entertained his hosts with wondrous stories of his homeland and its bizarre customs. After Salmanazar died, however, his will revealed that he was in fact merely a Frenchman with a rich imagination. Everything he had said about Formosa, its alphabet, its language, its literature, its entire culture, he had invented. He had built on the English public's ignorance of the place to concoct an elaborate story that fulfilled their desire for the exotic and strange. British culture's rigid control of people's dangerous dreams gave him the perfect opportunity to exploit their fantasy. The fantasy of the exotic, of course, can also skirt the sexual. It must not come too close, though, for the physical hinders the power of fantasy. It can be seen, grasped, and then tired of, the fate of most courtesans. The bodily charms of the mistress only whet the master's appetite for more and different pleasures, a new beauty to adore. To bring power, fantasy must remain to some degree unrealized, literally unreal. The dancer Mata Hari, for instance, who rose to public prominence in Paris before World War I, had quite ordinary looks. Her power came from the fantasy she created of being strange and exotic, unknowable and indecipherable. The taboo she worked with was less sex itself than the breaking of social codes. Another form of the fantasy of the exotic is simply the hope for relief from boredom. Con artists love to play on the oppressiveness of the working world, its lack of adventure. Their cons might involve, say, the recovering of lost Spanish treasure, with the possible participation of an alluring Mexican senorita, and a connection to the president of a South American country. Anything offering release from the humdrum. The reality. Society is fragmented and full of conflict. The fantasy. People can come together in a mystical union of souls. In the 1920s, the con man Oscar Hartzell made a quick fortune out of the age-old Sir Francis Drake swindle, basically promising any sucker who happened to be surnamed Drake a substantial share of the long-lost Drake treasure, to which Hartzell had access. Thousands across the Midwest fell for the scam, which Hartzell cleverly turned into a crusade against the government and everyone else who was trying to keep the Drake fortune out of the rightful hands of its heirs. There developed a mystical union of the oppressed Drakes, with emotional rallies and meetings. Promise such a union and you can gain much power. But it is a dangerous power that can easily turn against you. This is a fantasy for demagogues to play on. The reality. Death. The dead cannot be brought back. The past cannot be changed. The fantasy. A sudden reversal of this intolerable fact. This con has many variations, but requires great skill and subtlety. The beauty and importance of the art of Vermeer have long been recognized, but his paintings are small in number and are extremely rare. In the 1930s, though, Vermeers began to appear on the art market. Experts were called upon to verify them and pronounce them real. Possession of these new Vermeers would crown a collector's career. It was like the resurrection of Lazarus. In a strange way, Vermeer had been brought back to life. The past had been changed. Only later did it come out that the new Vermeers were the work of a middle-aged Dutch forger named Han van Meekeren. He had chosen Vermeer for his scam because he understood fantasy. The paintings would seem real precisely because the public and the experts as well so desperately wanted to believe they were. Remember, the key to fantasy is distance. The distant has allure and promise, seems simple and problem-free. What you are offering then should be ungraspable. Never let it become oppressively familiar. It is the mirage in the distance, withdrawing as the sucker approaches. Never be too direct in describing the fantasy. Keep it vague. As a forger of fantasies, let your victim come close to see and be tempted, but keep him far away enough that he stays dreaming and desiring. Reversal. If there is power in tapping into the fantasies of the masses, there is also danger. Fantasy usually contains an element of play. The public half realizes it's being duped, but it keeps the dream alive anyway, relishing the entertainment and the temporary diversion from the everyday that you are providing. So keep it light. Never come too close to the place where you are actually expected to produce results. That place may prove extremely hazardous. After Bragadino established himself in Munich, he found that the sober-minded Bavarians had far less faith in alchemy than the temperamental Venetians. Only the Duke really believed in it, for he needed it desperately to rescue him from the hopeless mess he was in. As Bragadino played his familiar waiting game, accepting gifts and expecting patience, the public grew angry. Money was being spent and was yielding no results. In 1592, the Bavarians demanded justice, and eventually Bragadino found himself swinging from the gallows. As before, he had promised and had not delivered, but this time he had misjudged the forbearance of his hosts, and his inability to fulfill their fantasy proved fatal. One last thing. Never make the mistake of imagining that fantasy is always fantastical. It certainly contrasts with reality, but reality itself is sometimes so theatrical and stylized that fantasy becomes a desire for simple things. The image Abraham Lincoln created of himself, for example, as a homespun country lawyer with a beard, made him the common man's president. P.T. Barnum created a successful act with Tom Thumb, a dwarf who dressed up as famous leaders of the past, such as Napoleon, and lampooned them wickedly. The show delighted everyone, right up to Queen Victoria, by appealing to the fantasy of the time. Enough of the vainglorious rulers of history. The common man knows best. Tom Thumb reversed the familiar pattern of fantasy in which the strange and unknown becomes the ideal. But the act still obeyed the law, for underlying it was the fantasy that the simple man is without problems, and is happier than the powerful and the rich. Both Lincoln and Tom Thumb played the commoner, but carefully maintained their distance. Should you play with such a fantasy, you too must carefully cultivate distance, and not allow your common persona to become too familiar, or it will not project as fantasy. Here are some further reflections on this law. From Fables by Jean de La Fontaine. The Funeral of the Lioness. The lion, having suddenly lost his queen, everyone hastened to show allegiance to the monarch by offering consolation. These compliments, alas, served but to increase the widower's affliction. Due notice was given throughout the kingdom that the funeral would be performed at a certain time and place. The lion's officers were ordered to be in attendance, to regulate the ceremony, and place the company according to their respective rank. One may well judge no one absented himself. The monarch gave way to his grief, and the whole cave, lions having no other temples, resounded with his cries. After his example, all the courtiers roared in their different tones. A court is the sort of place where everyone is either sorrowful, gay, or indifferent to everything, just as the reigning prince may think fit. Or if anyone is not actually, he at least tries to appear so. Each endeavors to mimic the master. It is truly said that one mind animates 1,000 bodies, clearly showing that human beings are mere machines. But let us return to our subject. The stag alone shed no tears. How could he, forsooth? The death of the queen avenged him. She had formerly strangled his wife and son. A courtier thought fit to inform the bereaved monarch, and even affirmed that he had seen the stag laugh. The rage of a king, says Solomon, is terrible, and especially that of a lion king. "Pitiful forester," he exclaimed, "darest thou laugh when all around are dissolved in tears? We will not soil our royal claws with thy profane blood. Do thou, brave wolf, avenge our queen by immolating this traitor to her august manes." Hereupon the stag replied, "Sire, the time for weeping is past. Grief here is superfluous. Your revered spouse appeared to me but now, reposing on a bed of roses. I instantly recognized her. 'Friend,' said she to me, 'have done with this funereal pomp. Cease these useless tears. I have tasted 1,000 delights in the Elysian fields, conversing with those who are saints like myself. Let the king's despair remain for some time unchecked. It gratifies me.' Scarcely had he spoken when everyone shouted, 'A miracle! A miracle!' The stag, instead of being punished, received a handsome gift. Do but entertain a king with dreams, flatter him, and tell him a few pleasant, fantastic lies. Whatever his indignation against you may be, he will swallow the bait and make you his dearest friend." From Emperor Tokugawa Ieyasu of Japan. If you want to tell lies that will be believed, don't tell the truth that won't. The 33rd law. King with dream.
Okay, let's
It
stop it there.
gratifies me. His past.
Okay.
All right, so that was Law 32. Law of Power, play to people's fantasies. Reality is often disappointing, and people have a tendency to get lost in their fantasies. By appealing to these fantasies, you can provide an escape from the mundanity of their reality, thereby earning their loyalty. So I had heard of Tom Thumb before from P.T. Barnum, but I didn't know the other things that were listed in the audio that we just heard. Anyone else have things they want to add about what we just listened to, or some personal anecdotes?
Yeah, it was this is Greg. It was interesting to see the strategy. That that you have to be vague by design. That lures somebody in. Otherwise, too much information is not. They're not going to take the bait. The other piece is keeping in mind that people's fantasies. They have a desire for simple things, so not overcomplicated. And lastly, in strategy, you have to create distance. You have to cultivate distance. If someone's too close, they're not going to go for it. So it's very interesting on the specific strategy of success.
Thank you.
I just kept hearing, don't tell a lie at all, right? So that you don't have to be in a position to have to maintain a strategy like this. But if you have to, because this is what having power means, well, then you got to be sharp, you got to be on your game, and there needs to be a lot of follow through, and you need to have, you know, history tells you that in order to be a good liar, you have to have a long memory.
I think that's why it's easier to tell the truth,
Correct.
because then you don't have to remember all the machinations and all the stuff. All right, Dr. Pina, Candido, Martha. What else do you folks have to add?
Yeah, it's life. Life is the world of fantasy. You know, Most of the most important writers in the whole world are not the one who are historian, are the fiction writers. It means it never stopped. You can tell one story of a specific fact in the of war, of a people, a biography. We working on Martha Bernays, the wife of Sigmund Freud, and we got only two books, like real fact, that's it. But from there, you can have hundreds of fictional movies and stories that are not true. So most of what we do, even when we want to go out, want to go to a movie, want to go to a place of wonder, beautiful. There is no a restaurant that doesn't have lights and uh, beautiful scenes. The same happened with churches. The biggest church in the whole world, so full of fantasy and places of miracle and kind of that you go to that place and amazing. You go to Paris, you want to go to the cabaret, you want to go back to uh the big church in the hearts of Jesus, and when you go inside, you see all the miracle that is inside. So, oh my God, I would like to stay in this whole world. So it have to be, and every the seductions of it's also playing to the fantasy of the woman. You broke, but I will work for you. I will become a doctor. I will become a I will be the best one. Come with me, baby. If you say I'm broke, I have no money. you know, who's gonna go with you? I remember that. You know, when I was in college, I had a kids, two kids already. I have seven. And whenever I was truthful, oh yeah, I have a kid. Women disappear. I got nothing. I didn't lie, but I was not mentioned that I have a kid. I remember that. My first wife was we were already dating and going out, almost moving together. All of a sudden, someone called me and told me about my kids in San Juan de la. He said, "You have a kid?" Yeah, I have a kid. But you never told me. Well, you never asked me.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
wow, exactly. Wow. Well, what can I do? So that's the whole thing. You have to in the art of seductions and love and things like that. You have to play the game of fantasy most of the time, because if not, you're not gonna get whatever it is. Of course, I mean, as he says, play the distance, never allow you to be caught. Like Brian Dino, who was at the end, he was guillotined for his lies. Um, but well, indeed, is the fantasies is the pleasures of the world. Someone yesterday told me, "Well, I got my friend was sad. She got an abortion, something like that, and I took her to the dopamine power or something like that. There is a place, I don't know if you know that, in Lawrence, in New York, in Manhattan, I believe it is, like dopamine something, dopamine place, dopamine, and it's a place where you go and there is a lot of place to do everything that will increase your excitement and things like that. So,
Sounds a
and for
little
example,
scary at the same time, though.
that's the one.
No, it sounds a little scary.
Yeah, this
Off.
dopamine something, and then when you go, they have sweets, they have uh incense, scents, they have movement, they have like room, fantasy room, and things like that. So that's play people's fantasies. Don't come telling me the truth of whatever's gonna happen. You show me the word, and the image. It's the moon. The image. is the moon. No, unattainable, always changing shape, disappearing and reappearing. We look at it, imagine, wonder, a pine, never familiar, continuous provoker of dreams. Do not offer the obvious, promise the moon is one of the uh, image of Love 32. And as a poet, well, you as a poet, you can it's very difficult to play to the social. That's why most of the socialist poets of the communism fail. Some of them, couple of them, were important. Some of the realistic painters of the communists also, most of them fail because there is not a fantasies. When you go to Picasso or you go to Dali, that you say you feel something different, something new. Um, that is part of creating the world of fantasy, which is poetry, theater, film, movie, art, culture. It's about playing to the fantasies of people. Or
Um, this is part to the life, the the fantasy and the truth. Um, this is the life. The truth is the reality is very um, uh, hard, and we need to have theater. Uh, we need to have uh, dancing, fiesta, a good moment, and the fantasy for this new world is amazing, and the movies, but the reality um, is another thing. But we our powerful thinking, we can do our best reality. Um, and create it and and live in both sides, reality and fantasy. The fantasy when the man want the lady find love is so sweet and gentleman and it's so good. This is fantasy, but because then uh, by the time the flower disappear and they open the door, move the chair. uh, this is the gay life, the beginning, and then what it is. Mhm. Okay, it's enough. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Tan bella.
Yes, yes, I think the fantasies always work because people are naturally drawn to hope and positive vision, especially in times of difficulty. I got an example of a former president in the Dominican Republic. called Leonel Fernandez, that he used to be enchant the people. Everybody who can listen his speech get get uh, get get fantasized for whatever he says, because he used to picture a future of hope, of a lot of good things, and everybody was drawn to him, because even in Spanish they used to say something that él es un encantador de serpientes, because everybody who listens his speech always get attached to him, but in reality nothing of whatever he offered used to the people used to get it, because he know how to play with the fantasies of the people. Just saying whatever you wanna achieve in your future, he tell you that he can bring it to you, but he's just appealing to the fantasies. And the people who know the politician and the people who knows about this, about the picture, the fantasies in the future, is many people are drawn to him.
And the reality now with Trump, this guy move the floor to everybody. This is the real. uh, he don't say nothing. They will say, "Oh, so good." Eh, fua, 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 fua. Candela, candela. This is our reality. No, it's not easy, man. But I think so. Then when the time was better and more easy, um, a lot of people made mistakes. But here it's too much, too much. Okay, I'm sorry for the politics. Our reality. We need more Disney World, Steven Demetri, the I don't know, uh, Stevie.
Disney World Universal Studio are empty. People are people are not coming for Orlando. They are afraid of Donald Trump's immigration laws.
Yeah, yeah. Also, the concert. The concert is nobody go to the concert. A lot of people be careful also. Be careful for the too much people. No matter what, this guy coming. I don't. I in my main my I say how this guy driving from Las Vegas, Nevada, driving from here to do this. Really, it's incredible. La Vega de Santo Domingo es more close de La Vega, Nevada. And he coming with this purpose to do this. And really, the mind is terrible. The mind, when the people thinking so obsessional. Really, I don't understand this kind the thing. And so how will he explain the reason that he has? He don't have any reason. He don't be a big player. for that. It's incredible. The thing happened. Okay, let me go back to my reality.
Do you, do you have anything you want to add about that, Dr. Pina, or are we just gonna?
It's okay with me.
Okay. Do you have any comments about? I think Martha was talking about the guy who did the shooting the other day. Um, anything you want to add about that?
What happened? I didn't know. What was that about?
There was a guy who claimed he had a brain injury and was going to, uh, I guess his idea was to go after people who worked for the NFL. But he went into an office building, I think it was last week, and he walked down the street with a rifle and he killed 4 people. So, like, he walked into this office building, he shot a police officer, um, and he went to the wrong floor. The the place he went out into in this building was not where the NFL was. They were on a different floor even. So he went to the wrong spot. But nevertheless, he killed a bunch of people, and then at the end he shot himself. So I think 4 people wound up dying.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
See, you are in the reality. We in New York, the reality news.
Yeah.
This is coming from Las Vegas, Nevada, driving to go to this building to kill, I think, some 5 people.
Hmm.
Or four, yeah, four, or five with him. And it's you are in the heaven.
Uh, I'm not sure about that.
He's going to the other places, Victor. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not judging, but I'm not sure about
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing at something so serious.
that. Well,
Um,
you know, speaking from biblical knowledge, it says you can't inherit the kingdom. Forget the sins that he committed, right? Because the Lord always shows that he can forgive no matter what, right? I think that's one of the hardest things for people to understand. Like, how can someone be so awful, so rotten, do so many bad things? And then one day they say, I'm turning to God. Um, if you're doing that with a purity of heart, the Lord will forgive you. But it also says that you can't take your own life. So even if there were forgiveness for what he did, he took his own life.
mhm.
So that's why I said I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
I want to be sure that you understood it. I'm not judging him for what he did. That's not my place, right? I think
No, I understood that.
yeah,
Yeah, I get that.
I do think what he did was reprehensible, though.
Yeah. Anyone else with anything else to add?
Well, not related to the topic, but you may have seen that I'm going down to Florida for an interview in Tampa.
Oh,
Um,
terrific, terrific.
yeah, I'm gonna go down there next Sunday, and I plan to meet Dr. Pina and Dr. Z if the Lord permits that. Um, and I want to give everybody an opportunity to come and smoke some puros on the yacht in Miami. I'm not sure we're gonna make it to
Cool.
Miami, but um, if you just happen to be in the area, please let's the more the merrier.
Yeah, you have sold that fantasy for a long time. I
Yeah.
have.
You
So
see?
would that be for a gig down there, or is it, or or what?
In full honesty, I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Okay.
What I do know is that the school is very interested in me, and they asked me if I would consider relocating, and my answer has just
We
been
stream,
that I'm
we
casting.
streaming, we streaming live on on
No,
on,
no,
on
Yeah.
YouTube. Okay.
I'm casting a wide net. I'm casting a
Cool.
very wide net. So at this point, I'm exploring every opportunity that comes my way, and I'm just pursuing it with an open heart, and we'll see what happens.
Great. And we can talk more tomorrow if you
Mhm.
want. Yeah. Awesome. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah. Anyway, so I think that's a great place to end it, on a little bit of positivity, and we'll have a great day, everybody, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.
All
Happy
right.
Friday.
All
Take care.
right.
Okay.
Be blessed,
Happy
everybody.
Friday.
Bye bye.